Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, where we pick a random prompt from a hat and try to develop it into a story idea. See what today's prompt is. A city is stuck in liminal space by a cosmic entity so it can experiment with them. Okay, first, any viewers that don't know what liminal space is, that's the space between reality and fantasy, right?
Usually with fairies.
So,
So usually between, hey, you got a hidden world.
that's right. I like hidden worlds.
Well,
Oh,
it's not
this
really
is
a
more-
hidden
Kind of.
world. This is this is a world created by a cosmic entity.
Or it's a city that was pulled into a liminal space, so so the city became a hidden world.
Kind of.
Okay,
I think you could have fun with that.
I think you could. You could definitely do
I think
this.
We've got
it
a
says it
cosmic
wants
entity.
to experiment. So what is Cthulhu trying to do here?
Is this Cthulhu or is this a fairy?
It
It says
a
cosmic entity, so it's a Lovecraftian creature, I think.
So we've
definitely
got
not a fairy.
liminal space and
Cthulhu
and
fairy.
Cthulhu. Liminal space
Okay, if you
and
want to
Cthulhu.
go with some kind of Cthulhu,
Yeah,
if
that
you wanna
works
go with
perfectly.
Some kind of Cthulhu-esque
Okay, tell me
fairy,
how.
then make it so
Huh.
instead of fairy wings, they have tentacle wings.
Okay.
No,
That's one of
here's
the
the
classic
thing.
things about them.
Lovecraftian use liminal space all the time. Like,
Yeah.
why is this weird to anyone?
Okay.
This is more Lovecraftian than it is fake.
Okay.
Okay.
Because Cthulhu was weird to me. That's why it's weird. to
Cthulhu
me.
is weird in general.
Okay.
The whole
Yes.
idea of
it's supposed to
Lovecraftian
be
stuff
weird.
is that you can't comprehend it.
All right.
Okay.
So the question is, should we make it so that the experiments he wants to do with the humans are comprehensible to a mortal mind or incomprehensible to a mortal mind?
Or
you could just make this
mix.
Okay. So if
Q
you
or chaotic, not necessarily chaotic evil, but just chaotic curious and just totally,
pure chaotic.
yeah, pure
Chaotic,
chaotic
yeah.
insane.
Yes.
Like, I'm
Chaotic
just gonna
insane.
play with these
Yeah,
mortals.
So in
Whee!
yeah, that's also very much fits with Lovecraftian.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not familiar with Lovecraft.
Basically, Lovecraftian horror is based off the concept that the universe is really, really hard to understand and we don't know anything. And it just takes that and says, dial it up to an 11, you got Lovecraft. There you go. That's all you have to know.
Okay.
It's just like, hey, yeah, the sea, I have no idea what's in the sea, but there's some
it's figure out
terrifying
a
monster
villain.
that we cannot do anything about.
Okay.
I don't think it's too hard to figure out a villain in this story.
Yeah, it's the Lovecraftian monster, duh.
You could
Right.
also have a cult that worships the Lovecraftian monster. Now that it's been, now that he's taken this city in, you could have a group of people who are trying to.
Appease him so that he doesn't just
Yes.
randomly kill them.
Now, here's a question.
Bribery. It's a wonderful thing. Yes.
Here's a question. Do the people in the city know about this?
We could go either
think
way.
Maybe
you're
some
gonna
would,
figure
but
it
some
out
wouldn't.
eventually.
Because when you have a cosmic entity, I mean, okay, for context, canonically, in Lovecraft's mythos, there are some people who have godlike powers and can move faster than the speed of light and destroy entire galaxies on their own. And there's a species of rat that can eat them in a single bite, and those rats are just rats to the normal gods, which are absolutely terrified of these demon creatures, which are completely subservient to the other gods. Yes, it is canonically they're called the other gods, not the outer gods.
Okay. Well, we don't have to do Lovecraft.
We
No,
don't
this is
have
not
to actually
Lovecraftian
follow
specifically,
Cthulhu,
Not
but-
Lovecraftian specifically, but what I'm pointing out is you can have ridiculous power scalings with it.
Yes.
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 I mean, the most powerful being is literally an infinite multiverse.
Okay. It's you. Of course, it's going to have power scaling.
No, he's just saying
whatever
that's
happens.
I'm
No,
just pointing out how
H.P.
Lovecraft
I
power scaled
think your
it.
city is eventually going to figure out that there's a chaotic, crazy god playing with them.
Well, if they don't figure it out, if they don't know it at the beginning of the book, yes, they will figure it
They're
out.
gonna figure
during
it
the
out.
book. It's just one of those things that's going to happen.
they
okay.
may come up with other
So this doesn't
reasons
feel
or other
so.
ideas, but
If it's experimenting with them, it's probably not just pulling them into this liminal space and then just leaving them there. There's probably something else happening.
Now,
in that
depending
space.
on how intense, how, this could be a cosmic being science project. if
It
you
could
want
be,
to go a little more
Cthulhu's
tongue in
third
cheek,
grade child, style. Doesn't have to be Cthulhu's child, but
No.
But basically the
You don't
equivalent
have
of
to
a
do
third
that's
grader
not a
playing with
tongue-in-cheek
toys.
thing in Lovecraftian type mythos. Literally, it's hey, I'm going to just completely alter the way reality works for a third grade science project. Yes, that's how
You could
powerful
totally do
things
that.
are.
yes.
Okay.
That's kind of the whole thing. Is hey, our entire universe could be
Mhm.
completely upended just because one of these outer gods says, "Hey, what happens if I ding? Oh, look, he just killed all of humanity. Oh well."
There's an infinite multiverse they can play with. They don't care.
Excuse me. Here you have a problem, though. If you have a god as your villain, you can't kill a god.
Well, obviously
Yeah.
not.
So,
But if we do go with Cthulhu-like mentality with them, you can banish them.
okay.
Mhm.
Which is basically
You can't
they
escape.
go, this universe, this one particular universe, basically get them to lose track of it.
Now, you
Or
can go,
get them to make an agreement, in the end, basically trick him into putting it back the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
Say, if I can win this, game of checkers with you, then I get to then you have to put it back the way it was you found it. Either that or you go the Star Trek route and have his parents show up at the end and tell him, bad boy, go put the
right.
don't bring that nasty human world inside the house. Go take it back outside and put it back where you found it.
Yeah.
But then that's not very heroic for your hero.
That's kind of, Deus Ex Machina type of ending.
Literally, unless you can come up with a way that the hero caused the parents to come in and fix things.
Right. So they could, but the thing is, your heroes, what they really need to do is figure out how do we get our city back to where it belongs,
Yeah.
and how do we protect our city from,
Mm-hmm.
from this.
Well, that depends. What's this thing doing to the city?
So what's he doing?
Mm-hmm. Because when you have an eldritch kind of entity, you can be anything from making it so that all of the rules of reality have been slightly twisted just to figure out how it would alter things, to everyone's pinky fingers are a quarter of a centimeter longer.
I think this is a third grade science experiment or something akin to that. So I think he could have divided the city into pieces and said, okay, here this happens, this is the control group, and this is the this, and just started going.
We never said there was only one city either. This could be, rather than third grade student, this could be kind of a bet or a competition between two of these cosmic beings. So we've got these, cosmic beings, and they're each trying to outdo the other with, I don't know what exactly their goal is with their cities. So
Okay,
you'd have two cities,
so
and they're trying.
Or they're playing World Box.
Or they could be playing, or they could pull this one city, but both of them, each of them have a different vision for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the way that you would at the end is kind of solve things is to pit the two of them against each other and use that to your benefit.
Or get them to come together and decide, hey, let's put it back the way we found it. But yes.
Either way.
Okay, so I have a few basic ideas. One is you could kind of go normal superhero type route where they're randomly given cool things that they consider powers.
Okay.
Although if we're going that route, I think a more eldritch mutation route would work better. So instead of you get super strength, it's more you get the ability to sprout tendrils from various places in your body to do things.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely more your style.
Well, I think we know who did this already.
Another one, you could have some laws of physics be wonky.
Uh-huh.
So
Gee, I've never done that before.
mm,
Go ahead.
yeah, almost shards like, but just I don't know,
Very different take on it, yes.
Yeah.
I'd probably try to make it a noise function of what is the level of each law of physics.
Mm-hmm.
Each one's based off of a random noise function.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, over here, gravity's just stronger. Why? We don't know.
Because it was fun.
The other thing is you could, instead of affecting the people, affect everything else in the city and have that become more eldritch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. These are just some
To
rough
see what the
ideas,
people
though.
do.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Well, I
I-
kind of feel when I hear this, I naturally think this is some kind of eldritch entity who is trying to figure out, okay, so this random planet I happen to find has this has this highly successful species of hairless monkeys, but I'm trying to figure out how these things are thinking because their thought processes seem really counterproductive. So I'm just gonna take this city and just start putting
Messing
them
with
through,
it to see
yeah,
what the
messing with
people
it to
do.
try to figure out what these things are doing.
Okay.
Honestly, that's kind of what I think of when I hear this idea. Which, if that's the case, then that would be he would be altering the world around them in order
Ooh,
to get them to
I have
try
an-
to
I
react to
have an
different
idea
stimuli.
here.
Mhm.
So, because they can't really defeat this god, but what if it's a type of thing where he is trying to see how they work? He's trying to do kind of an almost Q thing of giving us a test to see if humanity is worth keeping, and so they are going to have to prove their worth, prove their value, prove they are,
Mhm.
good enough to
Interesting.
and so what they do at the end is not defeat this undefeatable being, but they
But
they
they show that
they
they are
show
worthy
that they
of
are
being
worthy
spared.
of being spared. Now, the interesting thing with this is you could have some really he could throw some things at them
It
to
could
test
get
their
very
value.
intense.
And you could also have one of the things
Like the
that's
color that no one has ever seen before. They don't know how to describe it, and they feel an odd draw to it.
all right.
Yeah.
That was something that happened in a story of H.P. Lovecraft's. Turns out the answer is if you get too close to that color, you turn that color and melt.
Ah,
Lovely.
Yeah, that sounds like H.P. Lovecraft.
You could
Yeah,
also do
okay.
things. I think she's thinking more along the lines of tests of character, and
Right.
what would if you've got these uh almost Dark Knight-esque version, where you have you have to choose between saving this group of civilians or this group of convicted criminals, and
Yeah, but so he's
can your
putting
people
them
decide?
through tests,
That would
natural
be psychological
disasters.
horror,
Yes,
which could be very interesting
right.
and
He-
scary.
yes, he puts them through these tests of natural disasters, of kind of the psychological horrors of the various things, and he's putting them through these tests to see if they are worthy. Then you also, though, are going to have some people that obviously are going to be very selfish and very evil and things like this.
Mhm.
And that's one of the main things he's actually watching is how are they dealing not just with this external stuff, but with the internal stuff. And that's going to make a big difference. So I could get some good villains coming up in here. This could be intense.
It could
It
very
sounds like
easily
so
be
much
intense.
fun.
So who is
Honestly, I
No,
feel like
okay,
what would
here's
end up
what you do,
happening
though.
is that at the end, it's not that he goes, okay, yeah, the humans might be worth saving. He just ends up liking the main characters, and so he's just going, oh yeah, I want to make sure that these guys stay around. Yeah, sure. Let's just put this city back so that they have fun. Also, here's $3 million.
I think also when he
You
puts the
could do
city
that.
back, he's going to put the city back and say, you have passed. I am now your protector.
No, no.
No, why not?
Okay, if you got an anthill and had an ant farm, and then played with the ant farm for a while, and then released the ants back into your yard, would you then say, I am your protector, ants, I'm going to make sure no one hurts you, or would you just ignore them?
Depends.
He could
Depends
get
on
the
how
hero.
attached you get to them.
Yeah.
I mean, ants maybe no, but people you can get attached
Okay,
to.
Mom, you have to realize, the whole concept of Lovecraftian horror
Okay,
is that
but
we're
we
ants
don't-
are
this
facing.
is
It
not
doesn't
set
have to
in
be
Lovecraft.
canonized Lovecraftian
Right, this
horror.
is
I
not-
just okay. My point is that
Yes, is
it's
that
less likely that he'll
God's
say, "I'm going to
rarely-
protect you and watch over you from now on."
This
and
kind
like,
of God
okay,
rarely.
that was fun. Okay, I'll put you back. Bye.
Yes, you're saying that these kinds of gods rarely form attachments. However, depending on the
They could.
person,
It could, but
if
I'm
your
saying
god
it's less
is
likely.
kind of childlike, he might really think, "Oh, this is kind of cool. You're like an imaginary best friend, but real."
Right.
He'll give
Okay,
you
It's more
superpower.
the
so-
He'll
kind
give you
of
some kind of
attachment that
special
you give
power at
to,
the end.
like, pet lizard.
Okay, well, he could give his pet special
Hey,
powers at the
I
end
like
of the
our
story.
dogs
Or
and
he
cats.
could
Yeah.
Or he
They're
could
not
put the
lizards,
city
though.
back with the
Yeah.
way it was, except now he's made him the ruler of the city. Or, and there's different
Yeah,
ways
now
you
he
could solve
says,
this.
nobody's gonna mess with that city. I'll be there if you need me.
Or he just gives the power to the kid and goes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Okay,
He
so
gives
Yeah,
the
that
power to
makes
the
sense.
hero.
Okay,
and
anyway,
says,
back on
"Call me
topic.
sometime."
let's get this moving. So,
All right, who's our
our
hero?
It has
Because
to
we've
be
taken
someone
15 minutes
that
just to figure
you
out
get.
villain and setting.
It has to be someone that you could see an eldritch entity deciding this person's
Liking?
kind of fun.
Mhm.
Not necessarily this person's cool or this person sweet, just this person's entertaining.
So
This-
have him be kind of creative, a little bit weird, maybe even make him not fit in
He's
with
gonna have to
most
be
normal
someone
humans.
with some power to do things, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just said, okay, we're going to okay, your
I'm also
city's
wanting to make him an albino for some
okay,
reason.
listen, you're gonna have your city's got all these
Could be
problems,
cool.
go do something about it. You guarantee guys, I'll be, hey, come on over, Heather, let's get things to help you out, help the neighbors, things like that. But I only have so much influence as far as the city goes.
Yeah, but
Nobody
I don't.
knows who I
I
am.
have two ways you could
So
go
I think
about
we
with
need to
this.
be somebody.
Depending on what kind of problems the this god is creating, it could be it doesn't necessarily have to be large scale stuff that the hero's doing to catch his eye.
Yes.
Well, the thing is that when you have an apocalypse, no one really cares what the previous government was half the time. It's already falling because everything's changing.
I wasn't saying thinking he was going to be in the government. I'm just saying, he needs to be somebody I think that
With
is
some
known
influence?
Well,
in the city.
No,
At
not
least known.
necessarily. There are
Mhm.
two ways you could go about this. One is obviously the social influence. Have this guy be very popular among the city, well known, well respected, probably in the government, or at least something high up. The other option.
Okay, wait, respected the government.
Hey,
Okay.
hey,
Oh, I know it does happen.
Maybe.
There was
I have some
a nation.
conversations
There was
like
a
this.
city that elected a dog as the mayor, and he was very well respected.
Yes, that is true.
All right, the other route you're thinking.
The other route, actually, though, is go the exact opposite and
Stranger? Not even from the city?
Or have
well,
him be a nobody.
make him a nobody, but make him be very competent on his own route. I honestly kind of what I initially think of is have him be almost like
Mm-hmm.
have him be almost
You
slightly crazy, but have him go vigilante
Okay,
level type
but
thing.
one of the things you've got to realize too is you're acting like, okay, if someone is competent, then the people will listen to him and follow him.
No.
Anybody who has done a group project in school ever knows this. I mean, I remember going into something where
No, I'm saying he doesn't need to have people follow
Yeah,
him.
but I'm saying but you're gonna have to. He's gonna need to be able to have some influence.
Mm-hmm.
I remember going into something once where they were doing some little skit, breaking us apart and doing some little skits, and I'm kind of like, okay, guys, can I, and nobody, would listen to me, and I'm like, I've actually
grew
grew up around the theater and taught drama classes and directed and stuff for over 20 years. But nobody's gonna listen to me because I'm a nobody. And so I really would love to see him. He doesn't have to be a politician, but just to have him be some
Someone with
musician
influence.
or somebody that people know. He's
One route
somebody
you
in the city.
could go, I think I've seen this done before, but one route you could go is have him be some kind of gamer, and have the god playing with the city through games of some sort. Saying, let's play games
That
with the
sounds
city.
like
and
very
him kind of
anime
going,
type of thing
It
to
does.
do.
Yeah, that does.
Like I said, it's been done before, but
Okay.
you could kind of go that route. But yes, you could.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, I'm thinking more ex-military.
You could do.
You could go that
military.
route.
You could do.
How many people in the city know him? Not that much because he's new to the
But
city.
the people.
But the people who do know him know this guy is really
Right.
competent. He knows what he's
Well,
doing,
but
he
especially
comes
in a
and says,
survival
"Hey, look,
situation.
I'm Captain, Colonel, Lieutenant,
Right,
whatever."
he would get the support of the local military, so he would get some support. He would get enough of a group to do something.
I like
Mhm.
ex-military, but
Ex-military.
I don't know. I kind of also like him being a lone wolf. I just like the idea of him being the lone wolf and not having the
He
support
could
of the
be-
entire city.
He could be an.
All right.
he
Well,
could
what
be-
would you like
he
to
could
see
be a
this
very
hero be like?
controversial. He could be a very controversial talk
Oh,
show.
yeah.
host
or have him
something.
be someone who, controversial would be nice because then he has influence, but he's also not popular. He doesn't
Right.
start the story popular. He just comes in and starts.
Okay, so
And
a hero, I think we're all going to choose the hero differently. You can choose him your way. And
obviously, we've got a villain. We've got a general plot and setting.
We've got a sort of, each of us have our own hero, and there's obviously room for a love story in this.
Love stories are easy.
So
I
to
kind
that's
of
do.
like
not
the
gonna
idea
help.
of having it so that the Eldritch God ends up taking a random girl and then just alters her appearance in order to make her more appealing to this guy because he ended up going, this guy's fun. What did he look like? Oh yeah, sure. Here you go.
Or have a girl. Gee.
Oh,
That sounds like an Eldritch God.
hey, he likes you. I don't think you're good enough for him. Let's see. I'll make you lose 20 pounds. All right. This
And
could be
if
fun.
Or if you want to do
misunderstands
it
what
really-
humans
if you
like,
wanna
he
make
could
it
also give her
really-
tentacles on her face.
Yeah, it could have it be it's like it has no idea what humans like, and so it just makes the girl more appealing for the queen.
Okay.
Beautiful. She now has tentacles on
She
her
has
head.
the softest tentacles. Sorry, a line from one of my books.
All
Okay,
right.
so that's
I
basically
think it'd
it.
be fun. I think we know who'd write this. At least the top candidate for it.
Yeah.
But maybe one of you would like to
I
write
could
this.
write it, but it would be very different the way
Yes.
we wrote them. All right, we'd
Try
like to
doing
hear
this
what
Let
you
us
more
know
do.
what
style.
you think or how you'd write it.
And we always love more prompts for our hat. We'll see you next time.